Welcome to my channel. We have some bad news today. Cleveland Brody, he is accused of having been diagnosed with AIDS, and he's been diagnosed since 2006, but he did not inform none of his sex partners, and he has now been indicted on murder charges. His wife, Denise Brody, she died in April 2022, only 2 days after getting her diagnosis of the AIDS. So he had the disease knowing it, and he married this woman, and he did not let her know that he had it. Okay, this is HIVjustice.net. A Georgia man has been indicted on murder charges after his wife died after being diagnosed with AIDS. And prosecutors say he knew he was HIV positive and never told her. He is in his early 60s, was previously charged with reckless conduct after his wife died in April 2022, 2 days after she was diagnosed with having AIDS. Now a grand jury has indicted him for malice murder and felony murder in connection with his death. But I heard that the most he could get is 5 years. And they say that last year, because they trying to make it, because you can live with it, and they trying to make it where people just not so afraid of the disease and looking at it and like ew. So they trying to make it less. I guess you get in less trouble if you give it to people. But I heard that 5 years is the most that he could get. After she passed away, family members suspected that their stepfather knew full well he was HIV positive when he married their mother in 2014. He married her in 2014. So he had it before he even married her. And he was taking medication for it also. The family hired a private investigator to look into his life before he joined their family. His wife was also battling cancer. In the last years of her life, she had first been diagnosed in 2017, then went into remission. The cancer returned in 2019 and she beat it again, but she reportedly remained ill. When she went in to a different hospital for treatment, new tests were administered, revealing that she had AIDS, according to her arrest warrant. She was diagnosed with AIDS on March the 31st, 2022, which resulted in her death on April the 2nd, 2022. So the whole time that she was sick, she thought it was cancer, so she did not get treated for it. The doctors thought it was cancer because that's what she was being treated for. She did not take medication for it. And when they did discover that it was AIDS and not cancer, she died 2 days later. Her family says she may have been living with AIDS for years without knowing it, years during which she could have been treated for the disease. Court records showed that he faced 3 charges of reckless conduct related to his wife's passing, all filed in 2023. Prosecutors alleged at the time that he had known of his HIV positive status since 2006 and was never informed his sexual partners. They're saying that it's probably more people also that haven't come forward. He was taken into custody on July the 8th, 2023. That's sad.
Gun or a knife, but by giving her AIDS.
Fox 5's Kevin Stewart joins us live from the Rockdale County Jail in Conyers with the story. Kevin?
victim here was diagnosed with cancer, but soon doctors realized she had more than cancer. She had AIDS, and that's why her husband is here at the Rockdale County Jail. This is Denise and Cleveland Brody, married in 2014 after meeting at a Christmas party 2 years prior. These were better times.
And she loved this man. She really, really loved him.
But Cleveland Brody is now accused of violating his wife's trust, the family's faith. Rockdale County deputies have charged him with murdering Denise Brody, knowingly infecting her with HIV, his status completely unknown to her. She died in 2022 at 65. And how long did she live?
So she was 65. And a lot of people, when they start getting up in age, especially in their 50s and 60s, some people just, they have sex raw, unprotected, thinking, oh, if I catch anything, I'm about to pass in a way, I'm old, and they don't worry about it. And as you get older, your immune system is more weaker. And that means that you could have something and it's going to be harder for you to fight off whatever it is that you're catching.
Imagine you married to somebody. This person been cheating on you. You got cancer. You survived cancer. But then your husband or your spouse gave you a death sentence. And then as soon as you got diagnosed with AIDS or HIV, 2 days later, you passed away. You survived, but he gave you a death sentence. Watch this.
Bars tonight charged with killing his wife, not allegedly with a gun or a knife, but by giving her AIDS.
Fox 5's Kevin Stewart joins us live from the Rockdale County Jail in Conyers with the story. Kevin?
The victim here was diagnosed with cancer, but soon doctors realized she had more than cancer. She had AIDS, and that's why her husband is here at the Rockdale County Jail. This is Denise and Cleveland Brody, married in 2014 after meeting at a Christmas party 2 years prior. These were better times.
And she loved this man. She really, really loved him.
But Cleveland Brody is now accused of violating his wife's trust, the family's faith. Rockdale County deputies have charged him with murdering Denise Brody, knowingly infecting her with HIV, his status completely unknown to her. She died in 2022 at 65. And how long did she live after diagnosis?
2 days.
She put him out when she found out he was cheating on her. And she loved
He
him
looked real
so much
healthy.
that she actually allowed him to come back.
I guess because he take his
a test
medicine.
Because he's out there. And he was smart enough to know that he would not get picked up.
Prosecutors first charged the husband in 2023 with only reckless conduct HIV, but the family pushed for murder and did the detective work to share with authorities.
Get evidence of the fact that he had it before he met my mother.
2 years later, now her stepfather is charged with felony murder.
Because at any time he could have told her, I have this, and she gave her the right to make the decision on whether or not she wanted to stay with him.
And one of the reasons why this is so tough for the family is because AIDS is no longer a death sentence. They're encouraging people to be tested for all STDs.
Imagine the doctors coming in and telling you that you have cancer and you're going to die from that cancer, only to find out that they misdiagnosed you because 2 days before you pass, you find out that you have HIV and your husband gave it to you. And he knew he had HIV and he didn't tell you. So now your husband's in jail for what he did to you, and he's charged with, whatever they charged him with. But do you sue the hospital for misdiagnosing you? Because could they have caught it? This lady was on her deathbed to find out and hear, I got misdiagnosed because you have HIV and not cancer. Like, that had to be the most terrifying thing. This lady lost her hair. She had all of the symptoms of HIV. They are similar. Cancer and HIV have the same symptoms. And literally, this lady was sick for so long, but she was dying of HIV. Could she have been, saved if they would have diagnosed her correctly? And then if she was taking her medication? Like, it's so many, you know what I'm saying, ifs. If you get what I'm saying? Like, and now her family has to attack every single situation, not only because of the husband, now they gotta attack the hospital and the doctors because this happened. Like, this has to be like the craziest scenario. Listen, I'm sending like positive affirmations to their family, because not only are they grieving the loss of their loved one, but now they got to deal with all that other stuff besides that and behind that. Like, that is crazy. That is like unimaginable. Like, I don't understand. Y'all know what to do. Get in the comments. Let's go. But just thinking.
So I wonder, could she sue the hospital? Because that would be misdiagnosing her. She probably could, because she had to go to a total different hospital to even be diagnosed for the HIV, well, the AIDS, because it was AIDS when she passed.
She's not going to beat this. You need to take off the ventilator. She's not going to make it because she has HIV, she has AIDS.
Mr. Brody, you are charged at this time with the sole count of reckless conduct, HIV-infected person. It is a felony charge.
So we're going to be looking at this case, very sad case. Thank you for watching Why I Killed You TV. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and share this particular video on this particular YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about Denise Brody. She was only 65 years old. She was a mother of three from Conyers, Georgia. Tragically, she passed away on April the 2nd, 2022, from AIDS-related complications. Initially,
Man is behind bars tonight, charged with killing his wife, not allegedly with a gun or a knife, but by giving her AIDS.
Fox 5's Kevin Stewart joins us live from the Rockdale County Jail in Conyers with the story. Kevin?
The victim here was diagnosed with cancer, but soon doctors realized she had more than cancer. She had AIDS, and that's why her husband is here at the Rockdale County Jail. This is Denise.
The Rockdale County, Georgia man was charged with murder after his wife allegedly died from AIDS that she contracted from.
All her hair is gone. Cancer and AIDS is really a lot of the same symptoms. Because when you have AIDS, some of the complications that you can catch are different types of cancers. That's crazy.
Like, how is this even our life?
Life these days
She's supposed to be here right now.
looks a lot like reminiscing for sisters Tammy Hammonds and Karen Young.
I like that one too.
In 2017, doctors first diagnosed their mom, Denise Brody, with breast cancer. She went into remission, but 2 years later, the cancer came back, this time attacking her lungs.
The decline was so rapid.
After years of on and off hospital extended stays and chemotherapy, the cancer had cleared. But Denise somehow was still sick. The family had new doctors run new tests again for everything. Karen recalls doctors determining her 65-year-old mom was dying, but not from a malignant mass.
Then they end up calling us, telling us that she's not going to beat this. You need to take her off the ventilator, and she's not going to make it because she has HIV, she has AIDS.
Denise died April 2nd, 2022. Based off her blood work,
She was in full-blown AIDS after having untreated, undiagnosed HIV for at least 5 years.
the person who gave it to her was not unknown. Criminal records allege it was her husband, Cleveland Brody.
Mr. Brody, you are charged at this time with assault count of reckless conduct, HIV-infected person. It is a felony charge. Would you like the court to read your warrant aloud?
The warrants read, this was no accident, instead intentional. Detectives claim medical files reveal Brody knew of his status since 2006. The charging documents cite Brody did endanger by consciously disregarding a substantial and unjustifiable risk that his act or omission of not telling his wife his status resulted in her death.
How long have you lived in Conyers?
10 years. Inside the courtroom on July 11th, Denise's entire family anxiously watched the bond hearing.
I am going to deny bond, finding you a risk of flight.
Outside the courtroom, they breathe a somber sigh of relief for a case that only came after the family's investigation led to Rockdale County Sheriff's Office doing its own.
I do not think my mother was the first.
As the hearing wrapped for one charge, prosecutors held a second victim just accused the 61-year-old of not disclosing his status and having unprotected sex with her.
Another victim.
The sheriff's office says investigators have reason to believe there are other victims. If Brody were convicted of felony reckless conduct HIV-infected person, he would only face up to 5 years. It used to be up to 10 years, but advocacy groups like Georgia Equality fought to change the law last year with SB 164 to decriminalize and destigmatize HIV status. But the group argues this new law wasn't intended for cases like Brody's, who police say knew his status and had criminal intent.
So the particular instance in which someone would be arrested and charged with HIV transmission without disclosure was very, very rare.
Georgia Equality's HIV policy manager and former prosecutor Chauncey McGathery maintains most often HIV spreads because people do not know their status. Georgia ranks second in the country for new HIV diagnosis. The metro area is of specific public health concern. Fulton sits at the 6th highest U.S. county for new cases. People aren't dying from HIV and AIDS. Like, this is not a death sentence, especially in 2023.
Absolutely, and that's critical information.
It did not have to be a death sentence for Denise either.
If he had just gave her that one courtesy, just to tell her that, you know, to test herself for it, and that could be it, and she could have gotten treatment.
So this is a comment that I've seen, and it was like something that I had to make a video to respond to. And she said, y'all can do it. And I feel like she said it in good faith, like she really didn't mean no harm by it. But I just want to give a little bit of education because I know a lot of women think like this. So she said, y'all can do it anonymously. Women are losing their lives every day when their husbands come home and give them HIV. It just has to be done safely on both ends. Let me explain something to y'all. The HIV STD thing, like this whole, oh, we're in fear for our health, that story is running very stale because right now in 2025, look it up, more Black women have HIV cases right now. They have the highest numbers right now than trans women. So just like these men, y'all are in fear of these men bringing back HIV information with trans girls right now are catching HIV from men that's sleeping with promiscuous women. So women right now is giving it to the LGBT community, vice versa. So when y'all say that, I feel like if you and your partner are in a relationship, you feel like you and your partner is in a monogamous relationship, right? Meaning it's just y'all two. You don't feel like they're cheating, you're not cheating. I feel like y'all should still get tested regularly and still take proper precautions. Women sometimes have an intuition that if you feel like your man is cheating, you feel like you're not in a monogamous relationship, you should still do proper precautions. It's too many preventatives out here for women to be still saying, I'm scared I'm gonna get HIV from my man because he messed with a trans girl. They have so many medications. They have PrEP that you can get on that you're going to take every day so you don't catch HIV. It's a preventative. Then they have NPEP. It's something that you will take after you have unprotected sex with somebody that is going to prevent the spread of HIV. That's if you have a one-night stand or anything, you're going to take that afterwards. And then they have something called DoxyPrep. If you're scared of catching STDs, you're going to take 2 pills back to back for 2 days, and that's going to eliminate your chance of catching STDs. So, or you can just use a fucking condom. But again, a lot of women feel like they're in a heterosexual they're in a heterosexual monogamous relationship with these men, so they don't have to take these precautions and go to these measures. But at the same time, when y'all at home, y'all like, damn, I just caught something, my man out there cheating. You can't really be mad at the community, because 9 times 10, the girls that are carrying around STDs and HIV, they're always in treatment. They're always in treatment. Not saying every single girl, when they find out they have HIV, they're going to go get a medication. But 9 times 10, when you test positive for HIV, they are going to contact. As soon as your test results come back reactive, they're going to notify the health department. They're going to make sure you're on your medication. You're going to always take your medication. You're going to say, because they're going to be actively in your life. That is our job. Before you find out you got it, the health department has already been notified. So, with that being said, that whole y'all trying to protect yourself, and of course, I feel like safe spaces need to be created amongst women and trans women. That's why I have my certain events, so we can be allies in the community, so we both can get to a point where we can have these type of conversations, we can have type of disclosure, we can trust each other, but it's no trust amongst the two communities, because I done had women come and they say, oh, tell me about my man, or you done told them about their man, guess what? They stay with them. So what I look like telling you about this dude, you gonna tell him what I said, and you're gonna stay with him. You're gonna stay with him. So I done seen that. I done had a girl call me one time. She prayed about my boyfriend. I said, this my boy, we live together, this my man, and now she going crazy. Oh, but she's still trying to stay with him. She's still trying to stay with him. I done had several incidents like that where girls call me about these boys, and they still stay. So at times it's like, tell them for what? They still finna be with this dude. If you feel like you're doing something, go get tested, use condoms, go use preventatives. Just go do that. That is so simple and so easy to do. If you are in fear for your health with a man, take the necessary precautions with this man. Do not just assume, oh, he come home every night to me and him doing it every night. He's not going out there creeping and cheating. If you don't see that this man is actively going to get tested every 3 months, every 6 months, he's going to get tested, you go get tested. Put him on certain preventatives. He needs to be taking PrEP. He needs DoxyPrep. He needs to be educated on these things, so you don't have to be scared that when you go get tested that you might come up with something. Don't just assume.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
When I was 20, my husband gave me HIV. This was 35 years ago. I made a post about this a couple of days ago, and it's gotten like a crazy amount of views. And it's also gotten a lot of comments about, this is why I don't have any men in my life, this is why I'm never getting married, etc. And I get that, and I get why seeing my story could make you think that. But I want you to know that after that first husband, I married a second husband, a wonderful HIV negative man who did not care about my status, not from day one. We had an amazing, wonderful, full, happy marriage for 30 years. He died in August. He had a bad heart, and he died from heart failure. I woke up to find him dead next to me. But it was worth it. Every minute of it was worth it for the amazing 30 years that I had. I don't regret it one bit. There are bad men out there, but there are also good ones, like my husband, who was he's the best human being that I've ever known. He's a better person than I am. He was the better person than me. They are out there, but it shouldn't be a struggle. It shouldn't be work. It shouldn't be hard. It should be natural. There are men out there. Just because one man gave me HIV does not mean that I gave up on all men. When I was 20, my husband gave me HIV. This was 35 years ago. I made a post about this